Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on WagerTalk TV with your NFL Fade the Public Playoffs edition to Fade the Public. Hey, it's the wild card round. We have almost half of the playoff games happening this weekend. There's going to be 13 games from now through the Super Bowl, and 6 of those 13 postseason games happen this Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it is a loaded card to say the least. And the public, the public's going to be involved. They love the NFL and they love playoff football more than anything. I've got public sides and totals covering all 6 games here for you. I'm going to let you know what side the public is on both sides and totals for all 6 NFL playoff games, including the most public side in total this week in just a moment here on Wager Talk TV. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, NFL playoff football. Quick reminder, if you're not on board my NFL package, what are you possibly waiting for? This is one of the best times of the year to be making money in the NFL playoff season. We get a ton of public data, public consensus, and we fade the public whenever we can. And if you'd like to do so for the rest of the NFL season through the Super Bowl with me, you can get it for just $99. That is a fantastic special because the price is normally $149. You get an instant $50 discount with promo code FADE99. You know it. It's for this video only, FADE99. It's a special promo code for all those loyal viewers who have been with me all season here on Wager Talk TV. Use that code right now. You get my playoff package, not for $149, for just $99. That's every wild card game, every divisional round, championship game, and the Super Bowl in February, including all the player props as well. Everything for the rest of the NFL season for just $99 with promo code FADE99. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. By the way, I've got several strong NFL best bets. They're all loaded right now for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Go to my page right now. Get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM. All right, let's start off with the 2 games on Saturday. First playoff game goes at 4:30 Eastern Saturday afternoon on Fox. We have the Seahawks at the 49ers. Now, what I'm going to do in each game is I'm going to let you know where the public is leaning. I'll let you know if it's just a lean or if it's a strong public play. That's what I've done during the regular season. I gave you 4 or 5 plays, some additional leans. San Francisco is pretty public. I would call that close to a public play, maybe a lean, kind of in between a lean and a play. But the public is on the 49ers in this game. And it's not a surprise. Obviously, the Seahawks are a surprise team. And San Francisco, in my opinion, is the team to beat right now in the NFC. It's most likely looking like San Francisco at Philadelphia in a few weeks for the NFC title game. The Eagles, of course, got the bye. The Niners are the best of the remaining teams, in my opinion. And they have the most winnable game as a 9.5-point favorite. There's 3, possibly 3. We don't know about the Raven quarterback situation on Friday quite yet. But the Dolphins will have a third stringer. 3 teams, 3 of the 6 games have third string quarterbacks likely. But what's crazy is in this game, the third stringer, Purdy, is a 9.5-point favorite over Geno Smith, who just had a career season and broke some franchise records for the Seahawks. So if Purdy plays like a third stringer, I guess you could say Seattle has a chance in this game. But otherwise, I think the 49er defense is going to be too strong. And Seattle, a bit of a phony playoff team. They are fortunate to make it this far. Also, we talked about this game earlier this week on Wager Talk today on Wednesday when I appeared as a guest. Big factor playoff games. We saw this in the national title game on Monday night with Georgia. We saw in the 80s and the 90s with those mismatches in the Super Bowl in the NFL. When you have a mismatch in the postseason, normally it leads to a blowout. And the reason being that the better team doesn't take their foot off the gas because they have to win. And the losing team, the other reason it happens is because the losing team gets desperate and starts to press. Now, Geno Smith is a wily veteran. He doesn't turn the ball over, so that might be less likely here. And Seattle does have a good offense, so there is some backdoor cover potential. But the public doesn't care. They like the 49ers minus 9.5. As far as the total in this game, a little bit of a public lean over 42. Teddy Covers talked about this Friday on Wager Talk today with me. And by the way, check out all the replays of these shows here on Wager Talk TV. They're archived 24/7. Weather will be an issue in San Francisco, and that's why I've seen the total drop a couple points. Heavy rain and 30 to 40 mile per hour winds on Saturday. However, that's a few hours before the game. It's going to be light rain and maybe 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. So it's into that window where this really could have dropped this total, but it looks like weather not going to affect it as much. Keep an eye on that as we get closer to kickoff. If those winds linger longer, that really could affect scoring. But the public likes the over. They're leaning that way. San Francisco in the over in the early game. All right, another game on Saturday goes at 8:15 Eastern Saturday night on NBC, and that's where we have the division winner Jags as a home underdog to the wild card Chargers. And by the way, I do like this new format. We talked about it a few months ago. Leave me some comments. Leave me your thoughts below and let me know if you like the format. I like the fact that the top team gets a bye. It makes everybody earn that. And I like the fact all the other teams are playing. We have we have a lot of playoff games here. 6 playoff games this week in the wild card round, including some pretty competitive matchups, and this is one of them. I don't know about last week playing your starters if you're San Diego or LA, wherever they are now. The Chargers should sack people. They already had the 5 seed locked up. They got the preferred seed, obviously, going to Jacksonville is the weakest of probably all the playoff teams in the AFC. Head coach Staley, though, he still plays his starters. Williams is injured, might not play. Doesn't look like he's going to play. And, of course, quarterback Herbert could have gotten hurt. I don't know why those guys are out there. And now they have to travel cross-country on a short week on top of that because they played Sunday, now they play Saturday. So it does look like a decent setup for Jacksonville here as a home dog, and the public agrees. Public is on Jacksonville in this one. They do qualify as a public underdog, and those of you that are new to the video, keep in mind the public majority of the time plays favorites and they play over. So whenever we see an underdog or an under, it's a bit of a red flag, and the public is leaning towards the underdog Jaguars in this game for what it's worth, but I think Jacksonville is a live dog in this one. Wouldn't be surprised to see them competitive or pull the upset. Public likes Jacksonville in this one. Just like the other game, a light lean to the over. Once again, public is on San Francisco and Jacksonville. Light leans to the over in both games on Saturday. And we'll see how this one plays out in Jacksonville at 8:15 Eastern. Temperature is going to be pretty cold, actually, for Jacksonville. You don't think of Florida as being cold, but temperatures in the 40s on Saturday night. Might be a little cold for the Chargers, actually. We'll see if that's a factor or not in this game. All right, those are your 2 Saturday NFL playoff games. Don't forget, we have 3 Sunday games and a Monday night game. If you want all of my NFL playoff best bets every day for the rest of the season through the Super Bowl, including all the Super Bowl props, now's the time to get on board. It's a flat $99. It's the lowest price of the season. It's an instant 33% discount. Instant $50 discount when you use promo code FADE99. FADE99, FADE 99. You guessed it. That's a special promo code for this video only. My Fade the Public video. For all the loyal viewers out there, if you're not on board with the NFL yet, what are you waiting for? Now is the time to get the lowest price of the season and get every playoff best bet through the Super Bowl. I've got several best bets loaded right now for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday NFL action. I love the wild card weekend and get every playoff best bet for the rest of the season for just $99 total with promo code FADE99. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Let's look at the early game on Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern in the AFC. Dolphins at the Bills. Mentioned earlier that I was a guest Wednesday on Wager Talk Today here on the network, and I'd sent over a couple games the night before to talk about it. I was going to recommend a 49er teaser and a Bills teaser, taking them both from 9.5 down to 2.5 on a 7-pointer. And about 20 minutes before I did the show Wednesday, it became announced publicly that Tua was not going to play. I didn't think he was going to play. That's why I liked him at 9.5, especially in the teaser. The line instantly shot up to 12.5, 13. And now as we head into the weekend, as I do this video on Friday, we head into the weekend, Buffalo, a 13.5-point favorite. I do see it 14 at the Westgate already in Las Vegas. So if you like the Bills, you want to grab that 13.5 now. If you like the Dolphins, definitely wait until you get a 14 at some point this coming weekend. And the reason I say that is because Buffalo is one of the more public sides this week. Public wants nothing to do with Skylar Thompson, third-string quarterback for the Dolphins. Obviously, playing winter conditions for Miami is never good up there in Buffalo. Temperatures are going to be around freezing at game time. And obviously, the Dolphins do not like that type of weather. They were just up there a few weeks ago, and the point spread was half of this number. It was only around 7.5. So obviously, it's a pretty substantial adjustment. But once again, I talked about this earlier. Come postseason, come playoff time, you get those blowout factors. And if there's ever a game which you could see a blowout, obviously, it's a very good Buffalo team who, by the way, we have to talk about Hamlin. He's recovered. He's back on his feet. He's back in Buffalo. That's great news. But I still think that's going to be a rallying call for the Bills. Some of you probably weren't even born yet. When I was growing up, Mike Utley was paralyzed in 1991 with the Lions early in the season. The Lions vastly overachieved that year, made it all the way to the championship game until they lost to my former Washington Redskins. The Redskins went on to win Super Bowl 26. But I still vividly remember how overachieving the Lions were that year, as it really did. They did rally behind their injured teammate. I think Buffalo's going to do that as well. And then on top of that, they're probably the best team in the NFL. I think they are the best team in the NFL. And you've got a third stringer, cold weather. This is one of those front door covers you could see happening with the Buffalo Bills if a pick six happens late in the game. So hard to disagree with the public on this one, but the public does like the Bills minus 13.5. I'd recommend betting that now. If you like the Dolphins, wait and find a plus 14 as they're starting to pop as we head into the weekend. We don't talk a lot about totals. In fact, I've only given you one total in the first 18 weeks of the season here in this video, and that was a best bet winner for my clients last week with the over in that Steelers-Browns game. The public was on the under in that game last week. And I told you it's always a red flag when they're on unders or underdogs. Well, they're usually on overs, and that is the case in this game. But the most consensus total I saw out of all 6 games was actually the over in this Buffalo-Miami game. So we'll see how that turns out. This total look ahead was 45, down to 43.5. Obviously, when it was announced Tua is out. And we really haven't seen much movement on this the last day or so. So once again, for what it's worth, the most public total this week is Buffalo-Miami over. So if you're looking at the over there, might give you a little bit of pause. If you like the under, maybe that's enough to go pull the trigger. And that's actually how we use this public data. It's a filter. It's a factor. It's part of the handicapping process that you use on each and every game. All right, 2 more games for Sunday rather. Let's look at the mid-afternoon game in the NFC at 4:40 Eastern. The Giants at the Vikings. As we head into the weekend, Minnesota a solid 3-point favorite across the board. Of course, that's the most key number in all of sports. I do see some public leans on Minnesota, but what's interesting is once you start getting into the point spread, it's more neutral. So to win the game, the public is heavy on Minnesota. Yet when you start looking at +3, -3, I do see a little bit of public sentiment on the Giants in some spots. So this game is pretty neutral. I'd say a little bit of a public lean on Minnesota overall in this one for what it's worth. The public is also leaning towards the under in this game. And as I mentioned earlier, that's always a little bit of a red flag. It's not a heavy lean, but the public lean on the total is towards the under. Hard to disagree with that. These are 2 offenses that have been very mediocre at times. And first of all, we have to point out that the Minnesota Vikings, I've said it for weeks here. You've heard me say it on these videos. They're vastly overrated at 13-4. I've also said it about the Giants, and the numbers back it up. Both teams were outgained yards per play on average this season, and both teams were outscored overall this season. So a 9-7 Giants team, 9-7-1, you say, well, that could happen, right? They were barely above 500. But for a 13-4 straight up Minnesota squad, they were outgained almost a half a yard per play all season, and they've been outscored overall on the season. That's pretty remarkable. Unfortunately, they're playing each other. Love to play against both these teams, right? I don't think either one of them makes any noise in the playoffs. And one of them has to advance, obviously. They'll most likely be done next week. But the public is leaning towards Minnesota and the under in the mid-afternoon game Sunday. All right, one more game Sunday before we get to Monday Night Football. Let's look at the Sunday nighter on NBC at 8:15 Eastern, and that is the Ravens at the Bengals. Now, I'm doing this video on Friday afternoon. Wanted to get it out to you early since we had Saturday games. And technically, the Baltimore starting quarterback has still not been determined. We'll get the injury report in an hour or so here. We'll see if there's any final word. Lamar Jackson hasn't practiced for like 17 straight days, 16, 17 straight days. Do not expect him to play. Huntley's the guy that you got to keep an eye on. He hasn't practiced earlier this week, but he's still listed as questionable. Otherwise, you're going to have a third stringer in here to be one of the 3 of the 6 games, as I mentioned earlier, that has a third string quarterback. And that would be Anthony Brown, who made his first NFL start in that 27-16 loss at Cincinnati. So it's not a situation with the Bengals look very proactive at the quarterback spot. Lamar Jackson, of course, doesn't want to get hurt. Don't expect him to be there. Huntley, not 100% even if he plays. And then you're going to end up with a rookie out of Oregon, who is a rookie quarterback out of Oregon, Anthony Brown. And not a good situation against the Bengals, who've been the best point spread team in the league. They've covered over 80% with Joe Burrow the last couple of seasons. They started slow, 0-2 this year, and they really turned things on. They've been the best moneymaker in the NFL since the defending AFC champs. Here again, though, the line has moved this week with the quarterback information. Early look-ahead line last week was going to be 6. It opened as low as 6 in some spots, was 7, 7.5 midweek. Now it's 8.5. We even see some 9s starting to pop. Now, the Bengals at -8.5 or less would make a pretty good teaser. Taking them on a 6-point teaser, you get them down to -2.5 or less. You could tie that up in a 7-pointer if it gets to 9 or 9.5 with the Niners, as I mentioned earlier, getting them down to 2.5 or less. Keep in mind, the key to teasing the NFL is to cover all the key numbers, and that's 3 and 7. So whenever you get an 8.5-point favorite down to 2.5 or less, it is a good teaser play. So keep an eye on the Bengals as a possible teaser, but buyer beware in this game because the most public play of the week is the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are the most public side this week. Heavy public consensus on Cincinnati. As I mentioned, they've been a huge moneymaker for the past couple seasons. And then on top of that, why would anybody be betting the Ravens right now with all this uncertainty at quarterback? So quite understandable why the Bengals are the most public play in the wild card round. Cincinnati minus the points, the most public side. And guess what? No public lean at all. It's almost 50-50 right now on the total. I see some consensus over, some under. I'm going to call it no opinion on the total. So the sides and totals is the only one I really did not see any public consensus one way or the other. But the Bengals make up for it because they are the most public side this week in the NFL wildcard round. All right, that's your Saturday and Sunday weekend cap. We're going to look at the Monday night football game between the Cowboys and Buccaneers. Quick reminder, get the entire NFL playoffs right now and get an instant 33% discount with promo code FADE99. It's a special promo code for the Fade the Public video viewers right here. You get the entire NFL postseason. That's all the playoff games plus the Super Bowl, all my Super Bowl props, everything for just $99. Why wait? Get on board right now and have a huge NFL playoffs and make some money over the next month for just $99 investment. Gets it done, everything through the Super Bowl, but you got to use promo code FADE99. It's normally $149. You get it for just $99 with promo code FADE99, FADE99. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. All right. Tons of free plays, by the way, on my page every day at WagerTalk.com. College and pro basketball as well. Don't forget, check out the college basketball top 25 video on Wednesday and Saturdays here on the channel as well. Let's look at Monday night football between the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. And hey, look, if you told me you get Tom Brady as a home dog in the playoffs over the years, that would have been pretty appealing. But this isn't the same Tom Brady-led Buccaneers squad as those Patriots squads. The Bucs have struggled this year. And once again, a very weak division is the reason they make the playoffs. You know, Jacksonville sneaks in the AFC South. The NFC South wasn't much better. Tampa Bay sneaks in with a losing record, 8-9 straight up as they beat out the Falcons, the Saints, and the Panthers. And now they get the Dallas Cowboys, who were very close to contending for the number one seed, just missed out on the division. And now they have to travel as a 12-5 team to face a losing team. Yet the Cowboys are only a 2.5-point favorite. And the reason being, in my opinion, is because Dak Prescott did not look good last week against no longer my Washington Commanders. And, there's a lot of rumblings. His interception percentage is almost double this year compared to his career. He's not playing good. And you do, wonder, does Tom Brady turn on the greatness once again in this game? But will it matter? Because I think Dallas is still a much better team, but the public is on Tampa. Ding, ding, ding. Public dog alert. We have a public underdog in the Tampa Bay Bucks here. I mentioned Jacksonville and Tampa. Two worst teams to make the playoffs, at least record-wise, because they went in, snuck in from their division wins. But they're both getting some public sentiment in this game. The 9-8 Jags and the 8-9 Bucks against the 10-7 Chargers and the 12-5 Cowboys. So we'll see how that turns out. But Tampa Bay does qualify as a public underdog in this game. And once again, I think it's understandable why. It's basically the Tom Brady factor. And I also think it's because Dak Prescott didn't look good last week. So it's a little bit of recency bias. We know that's what the public is all about, recency bias, to say the least. As far as the total here, a little bit of a lean to the under. That's also a red flag here. Not an official play, but the public is leaning a bit under in this game as well. So public likes the Buccaneers as a home underdog, and they're leaning under as well for Monday Night Football. That goes Monday at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN/ABC. We'll see if Tom Brady can work that magic once again. The public likes the Bucs, but they also like a low-scoring game. They're leaning a bit under for Monday Night Football. All right, that's the public sides and totals for all the playoff games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Hope you found this video useful. Hope you found the information useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, a like. Make sure you hit subscribe and hit that bell for instant alerts when my college basketball top 25 videos and my NFL Fade the Public videos go live each and every week here on WagerTalk TV. Also, don't forget, I'll be guest hosting WagerTalk Today every day, Monday through Friday next week with Teddy Covers at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific here on this network. You can also watch these shows on the go with the mobile app, the WagerTalk TV app on your favorite mobile device. Download it now if you haven't already done so. And do us a favor, leave us a review. It really helps to get more people engaged with WagerTalk TV. And you know the deal. Most importantly of all, leave me some comments below. I love my comments. I read them all and I reply back as well. Let me know who you like this week in the NFL playoffs. Let me know your pick to win the NFC and the AFC, your Super Bowl prediction, and also some player props as well when you see them. And I love those 6 and 7 point teasers as well. Throw those out. Comment below, like, and subscribe. And don't forget, rest of the NFL playoffs, all of the NFL playoffs for just $99 with promo code FADE99. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon right here on WagerTalk TV.